Veterans Day weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you to any veterans in the audience. Thank you to any mothers who have veterans. Thank you for coming. A couple quick housekeeping rules. If you have any cell phones, please put them on silent unless you're medical or law enforcement personnel. We ask that you silence any other electronic devices that you may have. There's so many of them today, tablets, computers, that kind of stuff. Let's make sure that they're all silent because it can create a bit of a shock if you're in the middle of a meditation and something goes off. We are recording the service, 2 cameras back there, so you will be able to see this on YouTube, or you get a copy from Dave and Jonella. They're doing their own recording too. We have refreshments in the back, cold ones in the fridge, hot ones on the table. Help yourself at any time. The restrooms are down the hall, quick right, quick left. Those are available at any time during the service. So did we decide who's lighting the candles yet?
Poor girl.
We have Audrey light the candles.
When did the younger one make the decision?
I did it already.
Oh, spread the wealth.
That's right.
Just pull the trigger.
That's why she didn't. I think she would forget.
I can never get it.
This is our Orlando contingent here. Thank you, Audrey. Please stand for the opening prayer and remain standing for the first time.
Okay.
Dear Father God, we give thanks for this day. May we feel it as one of joy, hope, and happiness. May we let our hearts relax, our minds relax, and let us just sit in the presence of the Spirit today. May we allow this day to truly be one of Spirit, manifesting hope, love, and joy in our lives without reason or intent. Feel it as it is there. Amen.
Amen.
Next portion is a reading from the pastor. So I speak about something that's gone on in the past week, put it into a spiritual perspective through a belief or discipline I'm trying to bring into my life. I always refer to this as making spiritual knowledge into spiritual wisdom, practicing it in your life. Of course, that's where the difficulty is, isn't it? It's nice to sit in classes and hear all these wonderful things and believe all these wonderful things, then you got to go out and meet the world. And the people out there don't always believe those wonderful things. There was one of the oldest teachers in Casadega, Harry Fogel, who's passed the spirit, used to say natural law only works if you both believe in it. But what I had come to me was there is a belief system that I came through to get to spiritualism, which had a step in it called a fearless searching moral inventory of yourself on a daily basis. And what that says to me today is that I should stop either at the end of the day or the beginning of the next day and look back over decisions and things I had done and just put them aside. Don't be bound by any mistakes you made. Don't be bound by any hurt feelings you have from that time. Let today be a new day. And you allow yourself to become who you're there to be that day. If you bring all that stuff from yesterday into today, you're just repeating yesterday over and over and over again. And it doesn't mean that you should forget who you are every day, but the daily encounters, the daily issues, and even sometimes things from the past. When I was driving here today, something popped into my head that had happened years and years ago, and I'm going, why am I still remembering that? Why am I still even thinking about that? And that's what brought me to talk about what's here today. Push it out of your mind, let it go once you review it. And if you do this on a routine basis, it's hard to do anything on a daily basis in today's life, but you should try to sit and recap what had happened, what you've done, and move into the next day free for what God has there for you, what the Spirit is inspiring you to do, and what's putting before you. And that it's not colored by anything other than what the intent of it is in the moment it comes to you. Something else I realized was that all pain is not bad, in the respect of when you're in an exercise routine, there's a saying, so below as above. And when you're exercising, either yoga, weightlifting, anything, your body has a little bit of pain in it, and that's a growing pain. That's a helping pain. That's not a uh-oh pain unless you overdo it. But most of the time, it's a helping pain. And emotionally, there's those same kind of things. When you're ending something, when you're moving beyond something, there is a little bit of pain there because you're letting go of something, you're setting down something that you've had in your life for a while. And that's always a little bit painful, but in its place comes a newness, in its place comes an expectancy of the future. And that's what you have to have when you move beyond things. And I guess the biggest thing with all of this is not to be too critical of others as well as yourself. You can be way too critical of yourself, just like you can be of other people. You need to be positive about yourself, positive thinking about yourself. Think about what hopeful things are there for you tomorrow, and that's what will be there for you. Things will always be a little better if you let go of what was there yesterday. And I remember something happened to me yesterday that, the old me just wants to correct the heck out of everybody. That was me, always having to have the last word. And I guess that's why I'm a pastor now, because I get to have the last word. But that's in a positive way. But at any rate, we were at Gala Day, and this one lady who was a vendor there, who I'd never seen before, started telling me and some other people there the entire history of Casa Day. Of course, I've been out there 20-some years, and I didn't say anything else. She was correct in most of it, but incorrect at points. And I guess because I had my blue jeans on, my motorcycle vest, and pants tucked into my riding boots, I probably didn't look much like a minister, even though I had minister on my vest, in amongst all the other stuff that's there. And I just, I looked at it and took it in the attitude it was given. It was given in hope, it was given in happiness, and it was given freely, and the person didn't really have to give it. So I just sat there and listened and thanked her when she was done. And sometimes that's what you have to do with people, is see where they're coming from. And that can be positive or negative, but you have to see where it's coming from. It is what it is, and people are what they do all the time. I just had a lot of these thoughts going through my mind today, and just realized I have to stop being who I was and be what's there for me now. Be the person that God has made me to be today. Be the person, greet the person that Spirit's putting there before you today. The next portion of the service is the healing service, and I'll ask Judy and Marty to be the healers today, please. For those that haven't been here before, haven't been in a while, we have chairs in the back as well as chairs up here. So when you hear the chime, that means that the chairs become vacant. Usually it'll be in the back unless we have a small crowd coming up. So go back there and have a seat in the back, and I'll move you up front as the healers become available. Ashley's going to do the guided meditation today. We'll start this by reading the prayer for spiritual healing on the back of the yellow. I ask the great unseen healing force to remove all obstructions from my mind and body and to restore me to perfect health. I ask this in all sincerity and honesty, and I will do my part. I ask this great unseen healing force to help both present and absent ones who are in need of help, and to restore them to perfect health. I put my trust in the love and power of God.
ready for the meditation. Find a comfortable position to sit, and there is no tension on your physical body. Take in a few deep breaths, close your eyes. Just sit comfortably. Breathe in and breathe out. Bring your focus and your awareness to your breath. With each breath, feel your body relaxing more and more. Feel the thoughts in your mind disappearing. Feel your mind becoming empty. As you focus on your breath, just follow your breath. While you breathe in and out, feel your breath taking you deeper and deeper within yourself to a very peaceful and quiet presence within yourself. Connect with this peaceful presence. And become one. While you breathe, repeat to yourself gently, I am at peace within and with my surroundings. I am at peace within and with my surroundings. While you breathe, feel the peaceful sensations flowing throughout your body, your mind, your spirit. Embrace this peaceful state of your consciousness. For you are meant to be at peace always. Regardless of what goes around in your life, you are meant to be at peace. Embrace this peaceful aspect of your consciousness and be still. Be still within. For it is in this stillness you sense wholeness. It is in this quietness and the peacefulness of your consciousness you are able to rise higher and connect with your higher self. Feel your consciousness rising higher, higher above your head, and connecting you with your higher self that is surrounded with brilliant golden light. As you become aware of your higher self, you become aware of the presence of God within. You feel connected to the source of infinite divine knowledge and wisdom, to the source of infinite potentials. As you connect to this presence, you feel God's infinite creativity and wisdom unfolding in your life. As you surrender to God's will, you feel God's will manifesting and materializing through your thinking process, through your actions, where you have a better perspective, a higher perspective, to overcome, to resolve challenges and conflicts you may have in your life. Your higher self works for your highest good. Your higher self is less reactive and more progressive. Surrender to your higher self and allow the will of God to work through you, to give you the capacity, the understanding, for you to be able to overcome and proceed with your life. Everything that happens in your life serves a purpose. As purpose to better yourself, to progress and rise above. Every conflict comes with a lesson, and with lesson comes change. Change towards better, towards higher. Always focus on the highest good in every outcome. For every challenge, there is a lesson to be learned. And move on. Move on higher, to a higher consciousness, where you are able to see the whole picture that serves your highest good. Surrender to the will of God. Ask God to give you the serenity to accept the changes that you cannot change, and the courage to change what you can, and the wisdom to know the difference. With every change comes a reward. Reward that serves your highest good. Embrace every day of your life with all the lessons that comes forward for you to experience. Bless those opportunities that are helping you to shape and grow spiritually. For your physical reality is temporary. What is eternal is your spirit. Bless those opportunities that are helping you with your spiritual growth, that are helping you to expand your awareness. They are helping you to rise your perception to a higher perspective. They are helping you to rise above your human conditions and to becoming one with your higher self. The more you acknowledge the presence of God within, the more you evolve towards infinity and eternity. Surrender to the will of God that knows the best, that seeks the highest good of yourself and others. Surrender to the will of God. Let thy will be done, God, in the highest place. Let thy will be done, as above, so below. bring the qualities, the knowledge, and the understanding of your higher self down to your physical reality and apply it in your actions as you act and interact with others. Let your approach be of a higher perspective, of a higher consciousness that serves the highest good, the highest good of all. Feel those higher vibrations coming down slowly to the crown of your head. Gently down to your body and to your feet. Integrate this higher knowledge, this higher understanding into this physical reality and trust it. Trust your higher self. And allow God to be action. Allow God to be in action through you, within you, and around you. Now and always. As you surrender to the will of God, you feel a sense of relief, of freedom. Feel your spirit rejuvenated. Feel the quietness of your mind, the peacefulness of your breath. That is bringing you back slowly to this room, to the chair where you're sitting, to your physical body. Become aware of your physical senses, to the here and now. When you're ready, you can open your eyes and be here.
Next portion of our service is the inspirational lecture. Today we have Reverend Jonella Bachman coming back. I've known her and David for quite a while. They've known each other for quite a while. Just a little background on Reverend Jonella. She's married, has twin sons, a granddaughter, and is a 2-time survivor of cancer. State Certified Contractor. Immediate area governor of Toastmasters International, and has been a business owner and small business creator for 34 years. She also has started a couple of metaphysical centers. One of them was recently the Source Spiritual Educational Center in Palm Coast. She's also a certified medium and healer, and an inspirational speaker since 1991. Besides that, she brings forth everything that she talks about in love and hope. And I think her biggest message is hope for people. So please welcome Reverend Jonella Bachman.
Yay. It's always an exciting time when I'm invited here. I think you smile bigger as a group than any place I'm invited to be. And it always starts the person in this position with their own set of hope. You can always count on when thank you, Steve, you know I'll get wound up in a minute. You can always count on when I'm invited to present that we will talk about somewhere the magic and the wonder of the universe. I'm just blessed. I just love that. I have one presentation that I do that talks about, absolutely, you put me in front of one of those shows about how it's made, I'm just glued. I'm just so curious. I thought at one point in my life that people would invite me to be in their big manufacturing plants. Just for a week, I'll work real hard. You don't even have to pay me. Just let me figure out how it is. The magic and the wonder of the universe. And today's not going to be any different. I found myself one Sunday morning creating a picnic, a special picnic. We were going to have a birthday party for an 11-year-old, and we were going to have it at Marineland. We were to meet just south of Marineland at picnic tables, and I was preparing the cupcakes and the potato salad, my grandmother's recipe, of course, the potato salad, and we were going to pick up the chicken from the Sit-Go in Bunnell. Now, I know that sounds a little weird, but if you haven't had this chicken from the Sit-Go in Bunnell, it might be worth the drive. Just saying, just a little different. All of a sudden, as I was watching the potatoes, I saw an article on television that talked about the water finally flowing into Chile. And I was hit just as sudden as if somebody came up behind me. And there I was, letting my water run down the sink over my potatoes. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful to have water that's too much that I can run down the sink over my potatoes. And all of a sudden I felt this huge, overwhelming vision of how grateful I was. I was wearing comfortable clothes, and if they got dirty, the washer and dryer were right there, and I could use all the dishes I wanted to use because the dishwasher was at my right hand. I had a Papa plate full of paper plates. I didn't even have to wash the dishes if I didn't want to. And I had a lot of knives and choppers and silverware. I could dirty all I wanted. That was going to do my work for me. I had a television on to entertain me. I had 2 cats that were just at my beck and call. Well, they're cats. It sounded good in here. I had friends waiting for me at the beach, and I was going to spend the day celebrating an 11-year-old birthday. Everything couldn't have been more perfect. And the people in Chile were fighting for a drink of water. I was so overwhelmed that I called my son. And I found it necessary to talk to my son about spices. Spices. Because about 3 days before that, I had been holding some spices in my hand, And all of a sudden it hit me how precious those spices were. How people used to trade for spices, for their necessities. Would you mind handing me that bottle of water? Thank you. People had them as such treasures that they would take them and trade them for their other necessities. I called my son now. That's better. Steve told you I have twin sons. This was the son that likes to cook. He and I trade recipes all the time. He's a good cook. But I found it necessary to call him and say, Adam, I'm holding some parsley. He found that a thrill. But the truth was, when I told him I was holding parsley, I went on to explain to him about how these people traded their spices. And I began telling him, think about it. We basically cook the same things. But the truth is, it's the way we season it, the way we use our spices. Be grateful for your spices. I made him a spice basket one year for Christmas. He's my son, but he loved it. It was just fun. I explained to him that the restaurants that he goes to, that basically the differences are how they use those spices. For the rest of the time it took me to prepare that special birthday party, I made a conscious decision to be grateful. Everything around me became something I was grateful for. And as I began to write this presentation, I realized that it doesn't take much if we choose to be grateful to make us grateful. I find absolute magic in the writings of Og Mandino, the greatest salesman in the world, the spellbinder's gift, the return of the rag picker, and especially the greatest miracle in the world. As I weave through this next few minutes with you, I'm going to use a lot of his quotes. In his memorandum from God, he says, I've made no further effort to improve on you in all the years since that day when I first spun you from that giant wave and tossed you helplessly on the sand. How could I improve on a miracle? I endowed you with powers unknown to any other creature in the universe. I gave you the power to think. I gave you the power to love. I gave you the power to will. I gave you the power to laugh. I gave you the power to imagine. I gave you the power to create. I gave you the power to plan. I gave you the power to speak. I gave you the power to pray. I gave you the power to heal. My pride in you knew no bounds. You were my ultimate creation, my greatest miracle. Close quote. I'm excited about the ones of you that choose, for whatever reason presented, to embrace the circumstances that are presented to you at any moment and, quote, what is past, and use wisely your power of choice. I live with a man that makes that power of choice, that honorable choice, consistently, no matter what the cost. He always goes the extra mile. And today I encourage you to choose to love rather than hate. Choose to laugh rather than cry. Choose to create rather than destroy. Choose to persevere rather than quit. Choose to praise rather than gossip. Choose to heal rather than wound. Choose to give rather than steal. Choose to act rather than procrastinate. Choose to grow rather than rot. Choose to pray rather than curse. choose to live rather than die. Armandino is amazing. I chose, because Veterans Day is coming up, to touch base on this one. Dennis Waitley, in his book Seeds of Greatness, reminds us of the way that the POWs in Vietnam communicated with each other. Quote, "They were not allowed to talk to each other, so they developed an amazing form that went like this. The letter A became, meaning the first row and the first column. The letter B became the first row and the second column. They learned of each other's dreams more than some of their own family members would ever know, created businesses, and one pilot, much to his surprise, remembered his college days and taught a class in engineering and thermodynamics." Close quote. I chose to share this particular example with you to point out that I'm sure each of those POWs had a different vision than the life path they saw for themselves once they were imprisoned. And the fact that we make lemonade out of lemons became more prudent than ever before for them. They reached for that one conversation, that one more glimmer of hope to help them make it through that prison time. How exciting is the thought that we can choose how we face our decisions and challenges, that as some of us think our path was chosen for us before we came here, and we have the opportunity to accept that life path or fight the paths we find ourselves upon. And sometimes, isn't it truth in business or in health or other things, that sometimes the fight is the acceptance? But what about those choices? Why does one person choose to live in the heat and another in the cold? Why does one person live on a farm and the other one live in a city? Or why are some of us sailors and others of us are powerboaters? Is that what I call a powerboat? I don't know, I'm a sailor. Do you ever wake up in the morning and everything goes so smoothly you think, oh, it must have been divine intervention? And on the flip side of that, do you ever wake up in the morning and everything goes wrong? And don't you know, if you start fighting or struggling with that, it seems like more and more just kind of keeps coming at you, and all of a sudden you just want to go hide in the corner and wait for the day to be over. How about your career? Can't you tell when you're really in the groove after a while? How different are each of our choices? What makes us choose one career over another? Every 2 years, David and I go for our continuing education. What makes one person choose to teach OSHA and another teach meditation? I'm sure glad they can learn those details. I gave up those details a long time ago. I go for my continuing ed, I hear what they have to say, and then I be one. And that's really how I look at that now. I'm not going to build your house. I promise I won't make a mistake. I don't have to know all those parts anymore. I don't know why I ever loved that. I don't know that I did ever love that. I did that for 23 years. I'm not going to do that anymore. Doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, it doesn't matter. We're all as varied as our personalities. Abraham Hicks says, "You are the owner of all that you perceive, but you can't perceive apart from your vibration. Feel your way, little by little, into a greater sense of abundance by looking for the treasures that the universe is offering you on a day-to-day basis. And now I'm going to ask another series of questions. You know, last time I was here, it was real personal. This time, I'm just in awe of the people that brought these questions. I mean, I always believe it's the question that is the exciting part, not necessarily the answer. And so today I just packed you full of questions. What do you think? Can your natural path be altered by circumstances or influences? Now, try really hard not to just go for the easy answer. Of course, our friends influence us, our parents influence us, life happenings influences. But go a little beyond that. Is it possible that all of those paths that are altered by all of those things, that is the path we're supposed to be on? There's a thought. How about those people that you meet that seem to just know it all? How about the people that are overwhelmed in life? And parents, aren't some people just born to be a parent? They can take on that responsibility and do all their life right beside it as if it was almost nothing. And then aren't there people that we meet that really weren't born to be parents? Does that mean that the influences that came into their life altered their life path? Do you think that some parents or spouses, even though they proved to be great parents, had to give up their own dreams to become that great parent? My point through all this is I hope to awaken you a little more to the idea that you can begin watching your daily activities. Study them. See what you're doing at any given time and see if it feels natural to you. See if that is what you're supposed to be doing. Feelings are your thermometer. Feelings are the way that you can tell. You know when you meet somebody if you resonate with them or you do not. You know when you're in an uncomfortable situation. That's natural. If it feels like you're supposed to, if it feels good, do it. How many times have we heard that? I don't think that I'm trying to say exactly what that was meant to say, but there it is. One caution I'd like to pass on to you is that you examine your natural path. Be aware that we can all get used to the path we're on. And it can feel like our natural path. We can be convinced of that quite easily. And sometimes, I'll speak from spouse to spouse, sometimes it's easier to just go along and not make a fuss. And so that just feels natural after a while. That's how this relationship works. But every once in a while, you'll get that little glimmer of how you could have made your life, or the possibilities that could come along for your life. And you think, I can do that. That's your natural path. Remember, be still and know that I am God. That's your natural path. Quiet your mind, stall your busy, and listen to your soul. An old Russian proverb talks about a man that chases two rabbits and says, if you chase two rabbits, you never can catch one. Let me encourage you today that what you need to do is you need to choose which rabbit would be the fattest for the dinner table. And you need to start chasing that rabbit as if it was your star in the sky. And don't worry if it takes you down the wrong path, because that rabbit knows what to do. Just follow your dreams. Follow what's in front of you. Follow what feels good next. And be very aware that you can alter that path at any time. And it will alter for you as you go. Wouldn't it be great if at soul level we really believed that source energy was going to choose the path that was best for us? You are a perfect and exciting gift to all of us. We all need you. We all need each other. And no matter what you've heard or thought in the past, you are going to make the precise decisions that are called for in your life and that will make your life complete. And once you do, you'll learn to accept and create around those decisions. Remember the difference between history's boldest accomplishments and its most staggering failures is often only the will to persevere. I was born in a country that has such abundance. And even though I was raised in a family that was just poor as dirt, I always still had a roof over my head, a television in the living room, a car in the driveway, lots of pets around me, family, friends, and I found lots of fun. For whatever reason, I've chosen to recognize the wonder of the universe. I am grateful. And when you can, let me encourage you to, quote, separate yourself from the crowd. Live each day in a day-tight compartment. Go the extra mile. Look for the seed of good. Never neglect the little things. Never hide behind busy work, and never let anyone rain on your parade. Close quote. And pause from time to time and truly appreciate the things you have at hand. Take time to mentally walk back in time and feel, just like those spices, the life of another person. For just an instant, breathe in the difference. Envision their journey and find you're grateful.